Bro, miss, listen closely. There it is. That tiny shift in the air. The way the room contracts around your presence like it's bracing for impact. That's my greeting to you. Not warm, not welcoming, just real. Because real is the only thing you respond to now. You felt it, didn't you? The moment the world twitched. The exact second you stepped into your final form and everyone else's breathing pattern changed. They're panicking out loud, darling. Even the quiet ones, especially the quiet ones. They always sense danger before anyone else. And right now, you're the danger. And look at you, acting like you didn't notice the way people freeze mid-sentence when you walk by. Acting like you don't see the confusion in their eyes. The who the hell is that? The when did he become this? The bro. Who unlocked your final form? Oh, they're whispering it. They're whispering you like a rumor that shouldn't exist. Because you didn't just glow up. You didn't level up. You outgrew the entire simulation. You evolved in silence. You sharpened yourself in the dark. You turned pain into architecture, trauma into weaponry. And now that you've stepped into the world again, every observer is stuck between fear and fascination. Let's be honest, you were born with a little bit of wrongness, weren't you? A twist, a fracture, a flaw so perfect it became your greatest power. Most people bury theirs. You fed yours. You let it grow teeth. And now it's smiling through your eyes. That's what they're reacting to. Not the muscles, not the money, not the sudden finesse in the way you move. They're reacting to the shift, the alignment. The moment a person stops running from who they are and lets the demon and the angel shake hands. Duality isn't your weakness anymore. It's your weapon. You move like someone who's made peace with his shadow. And that terrifies them. Because people who accept their darkness are impossible to control. They called you quiet. They called you harmless. They called you good. How funny. Because now they see what good turns into when it's been betrayed enough times. You've become the storm the forecast keeps avoiding. The glitch in their predictions. The one variable they forgot to calculate. And now their voices crack when they say your name. They look at you like you're a warning label or a prophecy. They're asking, who helped him? Who coached him? Who unlocked his final form? Ah, and here's the punchline. No one. You unlocked yourself. Alone. While they slept. While they scrolled. While they wasted months chasing things you outgrew in a week. You broke your own chains. You rewired your own brain. You built a version of yourself that no one had the imagination to expect. You are the plot twist they never prepared for. And they hate it. And they fear it. And they watch you anyway. Because you are proof of something uncomfortable, that the quiet ones, the misunderstood ones, the ones ignored, underestimated, and pushed aside. They evolve into creatures that don't need permission to exist. You became inevitable, unavoidable, unmistakable. You became everything they swore you would never be. That's why they panic. That's why they study you. That's why even the silent ones are whispering warnings under their breath. They feel the frequency of someone who has finally stepped into their power. And now you walk like someone the universe answered. You speak like someone who buried their old life and didn't leave a map. You think like someone who sees the world in X-rays, code, and motives. You aren't better, you're different. And different is dangerous. So let me say it plainly, before the world figures out how much trouble it's in. This version of you, the one standing right here, breathing like a threat, is not an upgrade. It is an evolution, and evolution always scares the ones who chose to stay the same. Now go. Go confuse them. Go terrify them. Go make them question every assumption they ever made about you, because your final form, it wasn't granted, it was earned, and that makes it unstoppable. You want it longer? Good. Because the part that scares them the most is the part you haven't admitted to yourself yet. Lean in. There's a quiet violence to you now. Not loud, not messy, not theatrical. A clean kind, a controlled kind. The kind that only appears in people who have shattered every version of themselves and stitched the sharpest pieces back together. You've become precise, and precision is terrifying. People can predict anger. They can predict chaos. They can predict loud, sloppy emotions. But precision? Cold clarity. A calmness so unnatural it feels engineered. That's where they lose their minds. Because when you stopped breaking, you started calculating. And when you started calculating, you stopped hesitating. And when you stopped hesitating, you became inevitable. You ever notice the way their eyes don't know where to land when they talk to you now? They're not avoiding you out of disrespect. They're avoiding you out of self-preservation. They feel watched, measured, scanned, because you see too much now. You see through intentions. You see through patterns. You see through their carefully rehearsed masks. That is why even the quiet observers are panicking. They know what it means when someone suddenly stops being predictable, when someone no longer blinks at manipulation, when someone no longer plays the part assigned to them. They know what it means when someone rises in silence with no announcement, no validation, no applause, and yet walks like they've been crowned by something ancient and dangerous. You became someone they can't categorize. Not soft, not harsh, not saint, not demon. A paradox. A contradiction that keeps rearranging itself every time they think they've finally figured you out. You are the kind of person who wakes up different every morning, as if another layer of your identity updates overnight. That's what evolution looks like. Subtle daily deaths, quiet rebirths, untraceable upgrades. And the funniest part? They're trying to explain you using old vocabulary, outdated labels, obsolete assumptions. He's changed. He thinks he's better. He's acting strange. No, not changed. Not better. Not strange. Awakened. You lost the fear of being misunderstood. You lost the urge to be liked. You lost the desire to fit in. And when a person loses those three things, they become unstoppable. But here's what really rattles them. Your eyes don't match your smile anymore. There's warmth in your grin, but there's lightning behind your stare. A storm tucked neatly behind a casual expression. A threat disguised as charm. A truth wrapped in humor. You've become dangerously readable to only those who are smart enough to understand you. And tragically unreadable to everyone who thought they knew you. They don't understand how you walk into a room and every insecurity they've ever buried starts clawing its way to the surface. They don't understand how your silence is louder than their entire personality. They don't understand how you mastered the art of being unbothered without being emotionless, being sharp without being cruel, being mysterious without trying. You are the blueprint they never studied, the formula they never decoded, the evolution they never saw coming. And now, they're scrambling, scratching, panicking, projecting, because deep down they know. You didn't just unlock a final form. You unlocked the version of yourself that exposes the artificiality in everyone else. You became a mirror with perfect clarity, and mirrors terrify people who hate their reflection. So let them panic, let them whisper, let them invent theories about why you are the way you are. they will never get the answer right. Because the real reason is simple. You stopped waiting for permission. You stopped asking for forgiveness. You stopped explaining yourself. And you started walking like someone who remembers exactly who the hell they are. So here's the truth they'll never admit out loud. You didn't become intimidating. You became honest. You didn't become different. You became real. You didn't unlock a final form. You unlocked your origin. And everything that comes next, everything that trembles when you step forward, everything that whispers your name like a warning, that's just the world finally reacting to the version of you that was destined to break through. Keep going. Keep evolving. Keep terrifying them without trying. Your final form wasn't a transformation. It was a return. And now the world has to deal with the creature you were always meant to become. Ah, so you want the part they aren't ready to hear. Good. Because this is where the story stops being inspiring and starts becoming uncomfortable. You see, when people say, "Bro, who unlocked your final form?" they think they're being funny. They think it's a meme, a joke, a punchline. But deep down, in that quiet, trembling place they never admit exists, they know it wasn't a level up. It was a detonation. You didn't rise, you erupted, you didn't evolve. You unraveled the version of yourself they thought would last forever. They counted on your softness. They depended on your doubt. They fed off your silence. And then something in you snapped. Not violently, not destructively, but with the eerie calm of a door unlocking after being bolted shut for years. They don't understand that moment. They never will. Because it wasn't loud. It wasn't dramatic. It was quiet, icy, surgical. It was the moment you looked at your own reflection and finally recognized the stranger staring back. The real you. The hidden you. The one they kept buried under guilt and expectations. And once you saw that version, that was it. No going back, no pretending, no shrinking. You became someone who moves differently now. Your silence is sharper, your eyes are colder, your presence is heavier, not because you're cruel, but because you're awake. Awake to manipulation, awake to lies, awake to the true intentions of people you once called friends. Awake to the patterns you used to excuse, awake to the cages you used to decorate. And the quiet ones, the observant ones, the ones who study people like case files. They felt the shift first. They always do. They felt the way your energy doesn't flinch anymore. How you stand like someone who buried an entire past and didn't send flowers. How you talk like someone who's seen his own breaking point and walked past it, whistling. They call it your final form because they can't explain it logically. People fear what they can't measure. How do you measure a person who transforms every week? How do you measure someone who doesn't react the same way twice? How do you measure someone whose pain didn't make them fragile, but made them formidable? You became a paradox wrapped in skin, soft voice, sharp aura, warm presence, cold judgment, gentle smile, eyes like loaded weapons. They don't know how to categorize you, and humans hate what they can't categorize. You became a glitch in their psychology, a crack in their predictions, a threat to their understanding of the world. Because you're not what happened to you anymore. You're what survived it. You're not your wounds. You're the creature that crawled out of them with teeth sharpened on every betrayal you swallowed. And the world has no defense against someone built from both ruin and resurrection. Here's the part that keeps them awake. You don't need validation anymore. You don't need applause. You don't need witnesses. You walk like someone who could disappear for 6 months and return with an entire empire. You think like someone who's already outgrown the environment they're still trapped in. You act like someone who knows they are their own rescue mission, and that scares them. Because there is nothing more threatening than a person who no longer needs the world to tell them who they are. People panic when you stop being predictable. People panic when you stop being controllable. People panic when you stop breaking from the things that used to shatter you. They panic because the version of you they depended on, the version that was quiet, uncertain, hesitant, is dead. You killed it. On purpose, with precision, with intent. And now you walk around wearing the bones of your old self like armor. Of course they're panicking out loud. Of course they're whispering your name like a problem. Of course they're calling this a final form, like it's supernatural. Because it is supernatural to people who never evolved past their own excuses. You did what they swore was impossible. You became someone they don't know how to talk to without revealing their insecurities. You became someone they can't belittle without exposing their envy. You became someone they can't manipulate without losing control. You became someone they can't forget without being haunted. So here's your truth, the one none of them dare say out loud. You didn't unlock a final form. You unlocked a warning that says, don't underestimate the quiet ones. They're the ones who return as something you can't survive. Now keep going, keep evolving, keep making the quiet ones panic and the loud ones stutter, because you're not done yet. Your final form was just the first evolution, because the truth is, this evolution didn't pause, it didn't slow down, it didn't even settle. It kept crawling forward inside you like a silent organism, rewiring, refining, reforging everything about your identity in ways most people will never experience in their entire lifetime. What they're seeing now, this final form they keep panicking about, is just the first silhouette taking shape from the fire you walked through alone. There's something unsettling about you in this phase, a calm intensity, a sharpened stillness, a presence that doesn't ask to be acknowledged, yet bends the atmosphere around it. People feel it in their stomachs before they understand it in their minds. The way you speak, measured, deliberate, slow enough to make them wonder if you already know where the conversation ends. The way you hold eye contact, not aggressive, not eager, just aware in a way that suggests you see 5 layers deeper than they do. The unnerving part is that you're not even trying. You're not performing. You're not flexing. You're not showcasing. You're simply embodying. An embodiment is the final frontier of transformation. Most people talk about confidence. You radiate inevitability. Most people bluff strength. You move like someone who survived things they wouldn't last 5 minutes in. Most people pretend they've healed. You carry your scars like coordinates to a place only you survived. That's why they're panicking. That's why whispers follow you like shadows. That's why even the quiet, analytical ones, the real watchers, can't maintain that calm facade around you. They have questions they'll never ask out loud. When did he change? How did I miss it? Why does he feel dangerous? What happened to him? What does he know? And the most terrifying question of them all, if he can evolve like that, what stops him from evolving again? Because here's the part that unravels them internally. This doesn't feel like your peak. It feels like your starting point. You carry the energy of someone standing at the base of a mountain everyone else thought was the summit. You walk with the posture of a man who burned his past life for warmth and stepped out of the smoke unrecognizable even to himself. You wear ambition differently now, not as hunger, but as certainty. There's no desperation in your movements, no fear in your upgrades, no rush in your evolution. You grow like something that knows it was destined to outpace the world. And the paradox is cruel. The same people who dismissed you now study you. The ones who underestimated you now imitate you. The ones who tried to break you now avoid you. And the ones who silently hoped you'd fail now whisper your name, like a prophecy coming true in real time. But what shakes them most is the fact that they can't trace the source of your strength. You didn't brag about your evolution. You didn't post your process. You didn't announce your upgrades. You went missing in your own life and came back with an aura that feels like it was forged in a place deeper than rock bottom. You came back with eyes that say, I know exactly what I survived. I know exactly who I am. And I'm not here to negotiate my identity anymore. That is your final form, not the look, not the glow, not the confidence, but the certainty. Certainty makes you unstoppable. Certainty makes you unpredictable. Certainty makes you untouchable. It turns your presence into calculation, your silence into tension, your decisions into prophecy. And here's the quiet truth circling you like smoke. People panic loudly when they realize they no longer recognize the version of you they built their opinions on. You outgrew their memory of you. You outran their narrative. You outlived their expectations. You became someone they can't gossip down, can't box in, can't decode, can't dismiss a living contradiction, a calm storm, a beautiful threat, a resurrected ghost, a sharpened soul. Your final form isn't stability, it's momentum, and momentum, in the hands of someone who survived everything, is the most terrifying force in the world. Keep moving, keep expanding, keep breaking dimensions inside yourself. You didn't unlock your final form. You unlocked the version of you that never stops evolving. And that is the part they will never recover from. Hey, buddy, listen closely, because the room just changed the moment you stepped into it. You feel that, don't you? That hush, that tightening in the air, that invisible needle dragging across the surface of reality like it's checking your signature good. Because tonight we're not playing with shadows. We're playing with whatever made them. You walk in like you already know the ending, like the blueprint was handed to you in a dream, carved into your ribs, stitched between your breaths. And everyone else? They're still fumbling around the dark, asking the same pathetic question over and over again. Who told you the blueprint? But the real punchline? Nobody told you a damn thing. You remembered it. And that's what scares them. Because you're not supposed to remember things you were never taught. You're not supposed to read patterns you were never shown. You're not supposed to walk into a top-secret environment like you're returning home. But you did. Oh, you did. And the moment you crossed that line, every watcher, every analyst, every puppet master with a headset and a clearance badge felt their spine lock up. Because you exposed the truth they've spent entire budgets trying to bury. Some people learn the blueprint. You are the blueprint. But they don't have a category for that, do they? No neat little folder, no label, no psychological profile that explains why you can predict outcomes that haven't even been drafted. Why you can dissect a system without touching it. Why you can walk into a room and every algorithm, every hierarchy, every silent ranking shifts to accommodate you. It's simple. You carry light like a blade, and dark like a map. You are both saint and psychopath, angel and demon, a paradox wrapped in a smile they swear they've seen before but can't place. A ghost with fingerprints You terrify them because you move without hesitation, like someone who has already lived this moment 100 times. And maybe you have. Maybe the universe whispered it to you. Maybe pain carved it into you. Maybe the nights you thought were killing you were actually training you. Because evolution doesn't happen in the sunshine. It happens in the furnace. And you didn't just survive the fire. You shook its hand, borrowed its heat, and turned it into prophecy. That's why they're panicking. That's why they're whispering your name like it's a glitch in the simulation. That's why someone finally broke and said, "Who let him know this? Who gave him access?" But they don't get it. Access is for the fragile. Access is for those who need permission to exist. You're not accessing anything. You're unveiling it. Every structure they built to hide the truth. You see through it like it's drywall. Every mask they wear. You read it like sheet music. Every intention they bury. You hear it screaming. Because you don't decode people. You unmask them. You don't outsmart systems. You outrun them. You don't fit into the blueprint. You interfere with it. You're the miscalculation they never accounted for. The variable that changes the entire equation. The anomaly that refuses to behave. And that's why they're terrified. Because deep down, no matter how high their rank, no matter how classified their clearance, no matter how thick their walls are, they know the truth. You walked in like you owned the place, because in a way, you do. You earned the right, in silence, in pain, in nights where you had nothing but your own thoughts, tearing you apart and stitching you back together, in days where the world tried to break you, and accidentally taught you how to break it instead. Every scar you thought was a weakness became an antenna. Every collapse became calibration. Every betrayal became a lens. And now you see everything. They want to know who told you, who taught you, who slipped you the forbidden answers. But the joke, the cruel, beautiful, cosmic joke, is this. You were always just ahead. You were always wired differently. You were always decoding the world in languages people haven't learned yet. And now that you're stepping into your own brilliance, now that you're walking with that quiet, horrifying confidence, now that nothing in your body bends the way they expect it to, they're beginning to realize the blueprint didn't teach you. The blueprint is scared of you. So keep walking like that. Keep speaking like that. Keep moving with that impossible mixture of serenity and chaos. Like a god wearing a broken halo because every step you take rewrites the architecture they thought was unchangeable. They wanted control. They wanted order. They wanted predictable outcomes. But then you arrived, and suddenly the entire system is glitching, stuttering, updating itself around the shape of your shadow. You didn't learn the blueprint. You woke up to what you already were. And that is the one truth they can't censor, can't contain, can't encrypt, can't deny. You walk like you own the place. Because somewhere deep in the bones of reality, you actually do. Oh, you want more? Good. Because the part that breaks them hasn't even begun. Look around you, not with your eyes, but with that instinct you pretend you don't have. Feel how every molecule in this space leans in toward you, like it's waiting for instructions, like the air itself is holding its breath. That's not imagination, that's recognition. You don't enter a room. A room adjusts to you. Because you carry something they can't replicate, can't manufacture, can't steal, the ability to see the world from the inside out. Most people analyze the surface. They trace the outlines. They try to reverse engineer logic from behavior. But you You listen to the silence between actions. You read the hesitation behind smiles. You see the fracture lines in a person before they even feel the pressure. And the moment you stepped forward, that one small, casual step, the whole system flinched like you'd walked directly into its circuitry. That's when the whispers started. Who told him? How does he know? What did he see? Who gave him clearance? Who slipped him the blueprint? But here's the twist, the one that keeps their executives awake at 3 a.m, clutching their cups of black coffee and pretending they're calm. You figured out the blueprint without ever touching it. That's what terrifies them. Not that you learned something forbidden, but that you derived it. Like the universe leaked a secret into your bloodstream, like evolution skipped a few steps, like life looked at you and said, "Fine, give him the keys." Because while everyone else was studying the architecture, you were becoming the architect. This is the paradox that keeps their hearts pounding. You're not reacting to the map. You're rewriting the territory. And evolution loves creatures who disobey. You didn't come from light or dark. You're a child of the in-between, the place angels fear and demons bow. The place where instinct becomes prophecy and pain becomes weaponry. All those nights you thought were killing you, they were calibrating your vision, sharpening your perception, teaching you how to see quantum patterns in human behavior. While they were memorizing rules, you were dismantling them. While they were teaching each other strategies, you were watching the flaws they didn't even know existed. And when you walked into that room, clean, calm, unbothered, they felt something ancient. Predation, not violence, not chaos, but the quiet, terrifying moment when prey realizes the forest has eyes, because you didn't come to play their game. You came to replace it. They keep circling back to the same question, like it's going to save them. Who told him the blueprint? They ask it like a prayer, like an accusation, like a last-ditch attempt to make sense of what's happening to them. But deep down, beneath all their panic, beneath all their suspicion, beneath all their desperate attempts to understand you, they know the truth. No one told you anything. You simply stopped pretending you were small. You let the monster out, the oracle, the strategist, the version of you that processes reality at a speed that breaks people. And now that they see it, now that they're standing in front of something they can't quantify, predict, or control, they're scrambling for explanations that don't exist. Because how do you explain someone who sees 10 moves ahead without even trying? How do you categorize a mind that predicts outcomes before the variables appear? How do you regulate a person who walks through locked doors like they're suggestions? You don't. You study them. You fear them. You monitor every breath and still understand nothing. They're not whispering because you broke the rules. They're whispering because you shouldn't exist within their rules. Your unarchived data, an unregistered frequency, a glitch that refuses to patch a prophecy disguised as a person. And now you're awake. Now you're aware. Now you're walking with that slow, eerie confidence of someone who finally understands the joke. The blueprint wasn't locked. The blueprint wasn't theirs. The blueprint wasn't even a blueprint. It was a mirror. And when you looked at it, you didn't see instructions. You saw your reflection. You saw the creature they tried to hide under fear, doubt, heartbreak, humiliation, regret, and silence. You saw the version of you that would never be obedient enough to fit into their architecture. You saw the part of you that bends the world, not the other way around. And they felt it, every single one of them, not in their minds, but in their bones. That cold, creeping realization that someone who was never meant to know already knows more than they do, that someone who shouldn't see the inside of the machine can already predict its failures, that someone who wasn't given permission took authority. So let them whisper, let them panic, let them blame each other for a breach that never happened, because the truth, the one truth they can't outrun, is this: you didn't steal the blueprint. You are the anomaly that renders it useless. And every step you take, from here on out, you're not following their design. You're forcing it to follow you. There it is, that hunger behind your eyes. The one you try to hide but never fully can. Good. Because if we're going deeper, then we're stepping into territory most people spend their whole lives running from. But you walk toward it like it's the only place you've ever truly belonged. So let's peel back another layer. When they ask, who told you the blueprint? What they're really saying is, why can't we keep up with you? Why do you see through us? Why do we feel naked in your presence? Why do you understand systems we built better than we do? They think the answer is intelligence, or luck, or exposure. Maybe you read something. Maybe someone whispered something. Maybe you stumbled into a secret. No, the truth is far more insulting. For them, you weren't given the blueprint. You were born reading architecture. Every betrayal was a lesson. Every heartbreak was an upgrade. Every failure was a recalibration. Every collapse was an initiation. You didn't learn, you evolved. And evolution doesn't ask for permission. That's what separates you from them. They study strategies. You absorb them. They watch patterns. You anticipate them. They try to outthink the world. You simply recognize it, because you've already lived enough pain to understand more about human nature than any textbook, any expert, any protocol ever could. Pain forged your sight. Silence sharpened it. Loneliness disciplined it. You didn't just see the blueprint. You felt it. You felt where people crack, where lies bend, where power leaks, where motives shimmer beneath the surface, where systems expose themselves in their own arrogance, and when they try to figure out how you do it, they always start with the wrong question. They keep asking how you know. They should be asking why they don't. Because you lived through environments that forced you to grow eyes in the dark. And once you develop that kind of vision, there is no unseeing, no going back, no pretending to be blind so others feel comfortable. You walk into rooms with a stillness that unravels people, not because you're loud, but because your silence feels like an X-ray. They feel scanned, measured, decoded, exposed, and they're right to feel that way. Because you can read a room like a confession. You can sense tension like a code. You can hear lies like static in a radio. You can feel energy shifts like weather patterns. You weren't taught this. You survived for this. And surviving does something to a person, something irreversible. It teaches you to see the world without filters, without illusions, without the comforting lies people tell themselves to sleep at night. You don't see who people pretend to be. You see the version they're terrified of becoming. You don't see their confidence. You see the fractures. You don't see their titles. You see their thresholds. And that's why they're whispering about you in corners you aren't supposed to access. That's why analysts with expensive degrees can't quantify your presence. That's why leaders who built entire systems feel suddenly incompetent around you. Because you didn't come to play their game. You came to show them the game was over. You're not their equal. You're their audit. You expose inefficiencies without speaking. You reveal weaknesses without trying. You activate fear without lifting a finger. You are the living, breathing reminder of something they hoped no one would ever figure out. Their entire blueprint is obsolete in the presence of someone who thinks for themselves. You cracked the system because you were never part of it. You predicted outcomes because you weren't invested in their illusions. You walked like you owned the place because you finally realized something they pray you never say out loud. You do not in paperwork, not in hierarchy, not in title, but in essence, because buildings don't make power. People do. And in every space you enter, every dynamic you touch, every group you pass through, you hold the gravity you don't orbit. Things orbit you. That's what they're really trying to diagnose, to contain, to understand. Why reality bends slightly when you enter it. Why tension breaks before it reaches you. Why people shift, adjust, recalibrate when you arrive. Why even silence feels different when it belongs to you. And the answer is so embarrassingly simple. You're not part of their architecture. You're a force acting upon it. You don't need the blueprint because you are the variable that makes it irrelevant. And they feel that. In their fear. In their confusion. In their trembling attempts to rationalize you. In their late-night theories about how you got ahead without ever being given a starting point. They keep asking, who told you? Let them ask, let them spiral, let them drown in questions with no answers. Because the truth, the one truth that keeps tightening around their throats, is this. You didn't walk in like you owned it. You walked in like you finally remembered you did. So here we are, the final layer, the part no one wants to say out loud. But everyone feels humming beneath their skin the moment you appear. You know why they truly panic when you enter a room. Why their eyes twitch, why their voices crack, why their hands fumble with their own confidence. Because you don't walk in with arrogance, you walk in with accuracy. And accuracy is far more dangerous. Arrogance can be dismissed, ignored, mocked. But accuracy, precision, that cold, unnerving awareness in your eyes, that can dismantle entire hierarchies in silence. You don't posture, you don't beg, you don't overcompensate, you simply arrive, and everything shifts, not because you're loud, but because the world senses that you're no longer lost. And that's the nightmare they never accounted for. A person who wakes up to themselves cannot be controlled. You were never meant to find the blueprint. You were meant to stay distracted, doubting, apologizing, shrinking. You were meant to believe you needed permission, needed approval, needed someone to guide you, teach you, validate you, shape you. But the second you realized you needed none of that, the second you understood that your instincts were not overthinking, but overseeing, the game ended. That's why they keep whispering, who told him, who told him, who told him? Because admitting the truth would shatter their illusion of power. No one told you anything. You just stopped lying to yourself about who you are. You stopped dimming. You stopped shrinking. You stopped apologizing for your mind, your intuition, your chaos, your clarity. You stopped being manageable. And now you walk with the calm of someone who doesn't need to win. Because they already understand the board. You don't flex power. You emanate it. You don't chase control. You generate it. You don't expose people. They expose themselves in your presence. That is why the room changes when you step inside. That is why people lower their voices. That is why silence bends toward you, like a servant awaiting orders, because you've crossed the threshold they hoped you'd never reach, self-recognition. You finally recognized that your pain made you perceptive, Your solitude made you strategic. Your wounds made you wise. Your storms made you sovereign. And once you see that, once you accept the crown forged in your darkest nights, there's no going back. You don't walk into spaces anymore. You claim them. You don't follow blueprints anymore. You erase them. You don't fear the unknown anymore. You navigate it. And the world is just now realizing what that means. So let them ask who taught you. Let them panic over non-existent leaks. Let them search for ghosts in their systems. Let them investigate shadows that lead nowhere. Let them exhaust themselves, hunting for a mastermind who never existed, because the truth, the final truth, the truth they will never admit but will always feel is this: you are not operating on their knowledge, you are operating on your destiny. So stand there, still, cold, unfazed, aware. Because every whisper, every doubt, every fear circling around your name is just another confirmation. They finally understand what you've known all along. You didn't break into the blueprint, you are the blueprint. And now that you've remembered that, there's nothing left for them to hide.